we understood complementarianism biblically, but I'm coming from a background where there was a lot of abuse in my home growing up. Lauren's coming from a background where there was a lot of kind of, correct me if I'm wrong here, a lot of kind of external religion, but not a lot of heart transformation. And so the baggage I brought into the marriage and the baggage she brought into the marriage, although in essence we understood that we embraced complementarian views of the scriptures and of life, I think Lauren had to learn to trust me, and I had to learn to try to nurture and nourish Lauren's gifts and abilities. And so I think early on in the marriage, it was a tougher run for us than maybe where we are now, where we've learned one another, and as we've navigated the waters of 15 years together, 17 years together, 15 years married, that really pragmatically how it looks now is a real seriousness about me creating the space for Lauren to pursue and become the things that God has put on her plate and in her heart to do that are inside our home and outside of our home. And then simultaneously, I know she's sitting right here next to me. This isn't anything I hadn't said to her before, but I just feel like the most encouraged, blessed man ever. And that's not because she's a yes man. She'll go, well, I don't know that it was exactly happened that way. She'll really hold me accountable and encourage and go after my heart in ways that I don't even know what's going on in my heart. The Lord's gifted her to really dig around in there and really be my helpmate in every way. As the pastor of the church, as a preacher, as a leader, as a father, in every way, Lauren's love for me, respect for me, and encouragement of me has made me, I think, the things that God wanted me to be and wanted to use Lauren to bring those things about in my life.
I would say the first, 6 years of marriage were hard, and I think I needed to learn. I was great at the submitting part, and partly because Matt is a great leader, and it's really freeing to submit to someone that you trust their leadership. But I think for me, I was squashed not by him, but by a lot of fear. And so there were times I wasn't his helper because I wouldn't say anything. There was just this kind of self-contempt. And so instead of walking in freedom and in Jesus and really knowing who he had made me and really knowing who he was and what he made marriage to be, I was just squashed, and not by him. I want to say that I wasn't squashed by him. But once I got to kind of have my feet planted in the gospel and really understanding the gospel, and then understanding Jesus and the church, and then how marriage was to reflect that, and not that the church tells Jesus helps him, but the Lord has given me as a helper. And instead of just being silent and just feeling like, well, I just have to deal with my stuff, the Lord gave me courage to love him well by saying some things that weren't disrespectful, but I was at least bringing some things up that before I just was like, well, it's not worth it. I'm not going to do that, which was self-centered. I just wanted to avoid conflict, and I wanted what was easy, and it felt easier to say nothing. So I think that's how we've grown in our marriage, which I think sometimes is different for a lot of women. Most women feel like they're just really struggling to kind of rein some things in, where I kind of needed to get outside of myself, and I needed to see that I wasn't being a good helper to him by just avoiding the pain of loving him well.
That's a good way to put it. But.
Yeah.